Thank you so much, ma'am, for that lovely introduction. Now, I realize it's been a long session. I've also been sitting for a long time. So please indulge me and everybody stand up just briefly. Thank you so much. Stand up and shake hands with at least two people. So your neighbors or somebody sitting nearby, shake hands with at least two people. And this will form the basis for a maths problem in a couple of minutes' time. So you can look forward to that. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. You're welcome to sit again. Thank you. So, like ma'am said, my name is Tom, and I'm originally from Australia. My parents are from Australia, but I was actually born in India. So, you can imagine the conversations when I tell people that I'm here as a Hindi literacy teacher. Right? आप समझ सकते हैं, लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं, तुम यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो इंडिया में? और मैं बोलता हूँ, well, आप विश्वास नहीं करेंगे, पर मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ बच्चों को जो स्कूल नहीं जा रहे हैं या जो स्कूल में पढ़ना नहीं सीख पा रहे हैं. तो वो बोलते हैं, ये कैसे हो सकता है, बहुत अजीब है. तो काफ़ी मज़ा आता है ऐसे कॉन्वर्सेशन में. But really, I want to speak to you today about this program because it's been my privilege to be involved in this for the past 2 years. It's really touched my life, and I think it can touch the lives of many of your students if they also get involved in this. So, just briefly, to show the evidence, I once was cute, as this photo indicates. This was me back in 2001. So my parents moved here in 95. And one unusual thing about our family is that we believe in living with the people who we are trying to serve. So our goal is to serve slum dwellers in urban India. And we believe that the best way to do that is to actually live in a slum. So it will sound very strange to many of you, but as far as my experience goes, and I think many people will say, if we form deep relationships with the people we are trying to serve, that is when the most effective types of social service will happen. And the best way to form deep relationships is to actually live with the people who you're working with. So I'm not a millionaire, but I am a slumdog. I still live in a slum today. So this is a couple of pics of myself and some of my friends and colleagues teaching using the Global Dream materials. Can I have a quick show of hands? Who has heard of the Global Dream Literacy Project? Yep, okay. Some people, smattering, okay, not a huge number. Okay, no issues. So just briefly to link it to the theme of this conference, why is literacy important from a stress perspective? Well, illiterate people, I know I have the privilege of knowing many illiterate people, and they face many stresses in life. Can you see the text down in the bottom corner there? Can I have a quick show of hands? Who can read at least one language? I expect pretty much everybody here to be literate, yeah? So I'm expecting a lot of hands. Everybody can read at least one language on the screen. Can anybody read 2 languages? Yeah, of course, lots. 3 languages? I'm at 3. Can anybody read 4? Okay, not so many. 5? I'm impressed, especially with my South Indian colleagues. You guys are incredible. So, unfortunately, many people still cannot read any language, not even their own mother tongue. And this creates many stresses in their life. There's uncertainty about the economic future. There's a lot of dependency on others. If you're going to open a bank account or going to a government office, you might not know how to navigate that system. There's also a lot of lack of information. You're not sure what's going on. So this creates a lot of stresses in life. Now, unfortunately and paradoxically, many literacy projects are also quite stressful in my experience. People are expected to give a lot of time, often 2 or 3 hours a day. There's some fear of embarrassment. People who are illiterate, they are often worried of showing that they are illiterate in front of others. So there's a fear of embarrassment, there's feelings of self-doubt. So unfortunately, many literacy projects do not succeed because they themselves can be stressful environments for people who are illiterate. So this is how Global Dream was born, created by Dr. Gandhi, as she mentioned earlier. It was based on this dream, this incredible notion, can we make literacy teaching much, much easier, such that everybody can take part, right? Obviously, it's unusual for me to be here as an Australian taking part in a literacy project, and I sincerely believe that your students can achieve far greater than what I've done. The idea of this project is to make teaching literacy so easy that anybody and everybody can take part. So just very briefly, one quick story about why literacy is important. This auntie, her name is Sufia. She lives in the slum nearby where I live. And when I met her first, she could not read at all. And because of this, her self-confidence and self-belief was quite low. उनको लगता था कि मुझे पढ़ना लिखना नहीं आता तो मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ ज़िंदगी में. And her daughter was in school and sometimes brought home homework, but her mom could not help her with the homework. How many of you are parents here? How many are parents, right? Can you imagine the feeling of not being able to help your child with their homework? How disempowering that would be, right? So Sufia auntie, when I first met her, I was working in the slum there for several months, and she hadn't taken part in the literacy project yet because she was feeling quite nervous and embarrassed. But when she did pluck up the courage and asked me if she could learn to read, I definitely encouraged her, and she turned out to be a very quick learner. She went from pretty much totally illiterate to quite highly literate in about 1.5 months. Tremendous achievement for her. And the biggest difference it's made in her life is the self-confidence, the dignity that it's given her. I went with her several months ago to a parent-teacher meeting, and the teacher knew that Sufia auntie was illiterate, and she slid across an ink pad to make a thumb impression in the register. And that day, for the first time, Sufia auntie pushed the ink pad back and picked up a pen and said, no, I'll sign my name this time, because I know how to read. So that was a very sweet moment, And it comes to this point of, even though there are so many people who are illiterate, literacy is a very crucial skill in our daily lives. So if this may be one of the greatest gifts we can give anybody. Better than giving somebody food or money, if we can teach them how to read, that can make a difference for their whole lives. Just to briefly look at the scale of the problem, India has around 280 million illiterate adults, according to UNESCO. And this is actually, I was shocked when I heard this, but it's more than the remaining top 10 countries, as in ranks 2, 3, 4, so forth to number 10, more than all of them added together. India has almost 40% of the world's illiterate population. You can see that in the bar graph, right? India on the left, and then there's China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and so forth, stacking up on the right. It takes at least 9 countries to reach India's total. So India is the nation where the fight, the struggle against illiteracy will be won or lost. Now, that's the situation with adults. Unfortunately, with children, it's not much more encouraging. Several years ago, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the annual Status of Education report, and there have been many other surveys showing that many school students, despite being in school for 3 or 5 years, cannot read basic passages in their mother tongue. Could you please indulge me by reading out the passage in the bottom corner there? Can everybody read it out loudly, please? Nagma, Samajdar, yeah? Yes, thank you. Okay, very nice. So obviously you are all literate. But unfortunately, this passage, which was taken from a grade 2 textbook, it was shown to grade 3 and grade 5 students. Just 1/4 of the grade 3 students could read it, and half of the grade 5 students could read it. So that's pretty shocking as educators in our nation. Pretty shocking state of affairs that so many students are coming to school, but they're still not learning the real basics. So it's up to us as educators and as the general population to make a difference here, to empower everybody with the gift of literacy. So that's how Global Dream was born. Our vision is that we have a people's movement for literacy. By making teaching literacy that much easier, everybody can get involved. All sections of society can participate. Our slogan is, each one, teach one. There are 280 million illiterate people in the country, but there are far more literate people. So if we all just take the responsibility of choosing one person and teaching them, very quickly the nation's picture will change. So that's our vision. Parents teaching children, children teaching parents, and especially a particularly powerful modality is people teaching each other across social and economic divides. This is what we've seen in many schools in Lucknow. Wealthy private schools, including CMS and CIS and La Martiniere and many others. Kids from quite privileged, advantaged backgrounds, when they interact with kids from the slum, kids and adults from the slum, and start teaching them, as you can see in this photo, friendships form across those divides. People who they're used to thinking of as just maids or servants or jhadu wala or whatever, they're actually they're students, they're learners. And those friendships forming are really powerful. And I think that's the foundation on which equality will be built in future generations. So just extremely briefly, how is Global Dream so effective? That's the main question. Why does it work so well? Just to give you a very quick demonstration, supposing I was teaching you this word, the conventional technique would be something like this. I will just say, ba, sa, bus. Everybody repeat after me, please. Ba, sa, bus. Repeat louder. Ba, sa, bus. Okay, do you think this is a very effective teaching technique? Somebody saying yes? Somebody saying no? Okay. In my experience, I've seen this played out time and again. It's very ineffective. Children will repeat it after you, but they'll forget again tomorrow and parso and the day after that. So if you just try rote learning, just try forcing the answer on them, it's not going to work. A much better technique, which we espouse in Global Dream, is to ask questions. So, ye kya hai? Batak. Batak ki pehli आवाज क्या है? Ba. ये कौन है? सपेरा की पहली आवाज क्या है? Sa. दोनों मिलाकर क्या बनेगा? So that is the power of asking questions. If you ask questions, you involve the learner, and it makes the process that much more interesting. Thank you. I want to skip through this slide because I promised you that we would have one maths question here. So you all shook hands with each other. I think there are about 400 people also in this auditorium. Supposing we had much more time and everybody shook hands with everybody else, how many handshakes would take place? Okay, take a couple of seconds to think about it. Now, I know this question appeared in Super 30, but I swear that I had the question first and he plagiarized it. So just have a quick think. Can anybody shout out a guess? How many handshakes might take place? Yes? Okay, 400 times 399. Excellent guess. Not quite. Another guess? Yeah? No, that's far more handshakes than would take place. Nice guess, though. Okay, any further guesses? Roshan, the pressure is on you now that you've been outed as a genius. Okay, so... Okay, 400 times 399. 199? No, not quite. Okay, I'll give you a hand. No, not 400 factorial. Okay, so the answer is, well, let me ask it like this. How many handshakes would you make? If there are 400 people here total, including you would make 399 handshakes, right? So everybody is making, all 400 people are making 399 handshakes, right? But each handshake involves two people, but it's only one event, right? So hence we divide by 2 as well. The gentleman was very close, but it's 400 times 399 divided by 2. The answer is 79,800. Thank you. Now, the main question, and this is what I would like to conclude with, I asked this as a question, and that was much more interesting for you. If I just told you the answer, 79,800, dead boring, right? But it's the power of the question, right? And that's what Global Dream is founded upon, asking learners questions so they get the chance to think and express themselves. So thank you so much for your attention. Now, my colleagues and I will be running a parallel session just after lunch. It will be in some room downstairs, in which we will be giving you a more in-depth training of how Global Dream works and how your school or institution can be involved. In fact, it will be a training where essentially you'll be able to become a Global Dream trainer after that session. So please, if you're interested, I really sincerely encourage you to get involved in this project. It's a fantastic opportunity for your students to improve themselves, to develop skills and values, and also to serve the nation. So please do come to our parallel session post-lunch. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tom. And we do agree with you that how important it is and how challenging it is to make the literacy programs become a big success. And the challenges that are faced by all of us in running these programs is a huge task, and getting them incorporated is again a big task. But we believe in ourselves that we can do it, so we will definitely. Next, I call upon very quickly on stage the students of City International School, Balaganj, for their 2 dance performances, taking the same cause further on education. They believe that है लक्ष्य एक, संकल्प एक, सबको समझाना है, हर बस्ती, गांव, शहर को साक्षर बनाना है. With this purpose, with this aim, they are here to present before you 2 dance performances. One is on education and the other one is on achieving whatever you have dreamt of. When you think big, you dream big, and then you achieve big. So please put your hands together for these small little kids of CIS Balaganj for their dance performance.